It's a great day today because I'm here with Karen, who has had the most amazing journey with Ayurveda for more than a decade, traveling in and out of the Ayurvedic protocols and exploring what works for her and her family. And you are in for a treat because what Karen and we are about to get into and share about can help you and your family thrive. Welcome back. I'm here with Karen, and I'm excited to hear about your amazing journey, Karen. Please share a little bit about yourself.
I am 50 years old now. Yay, I made it. I am the mother of two amazing children, I'd say, 18 years old, off to college. And my daughter, who is almost 13. I work with toddlers, teaching parents how to help their kids, and that's how I spend most of my time. I had moved across 3 states trying to escape headaches, constant chronic burning sensations in my face, in my sinuses. I had been to every Western doctor that exists. Right before I came to see you, I was at an ENT who suggested a brain scan. I had pain all the time. When I woke up in the morning, when I went to bed at night, it was constant. It made me not pleasant to be around. So my husband found Heidi and suggested that I try this. This is something that I had not tried, and that it offered a lifestyle way of thinking about things. And I'll never forget, Heidi, what you told me. You said, if you can give me 3 months. And I thought, she's the first person who has any idea what to do that doesn't require more pills that are going to damage my liver or who knows. So I did everything Heidi said, and it was less than 3 months that I had relief from my headaches, for sure. We attacked herbs, how I was sleeping, how I was eating, how I was thinking, every aspect of my life. And I'm now headache free. If I get a headache now, it's because I know what happened. I say, oops, I tried that. That didn't work. Okay, let's get back on track. So I have it totally under control. I'm also proudly the only female in my family who still has a gallbladder. As in my around mid 40s, I started to have some flare-ups. We knew that's what it was. Of course, Western medicine wanted to just take it out like they did my mother, my grandmother, her sister, all the women in the family. But Heidi took me through pretty intense ways of cleansing. I did panchakarma. We did all kinds of massage. I did enemas, and I still have my gallbladder. Not only that, I don't have any problems with that anymore. I don't even think about it. It's not part of my issue. I've been consistent. I learn, I'm a good student, and I practice what I'm told. And then I can figure out, oh, can I never eat garlic again? I can tell you now, I can figure out when it's okay and when it's not, but I certainly don't eat it every day all the time. For example, that was one of my triggers personally.
We've been raised to love garlic. Love the taste of garlic and onion in most foods. Whenever we go to a restaurant, that's a key ingredient to bring the flavors out in the food. So how have you found, Karen, ways to substitute it so you can enjoy your foods?
I just use lots more different digestive seasonings that help me a lot. Cumin, coriander, turmeric, black pepper, sometimes. Yeah, it makes food taste great. And if sometimes I want garlic, I make sure it's in the winter when the weather's cooler. This works better for me. And I can have it and be okay. If I eat it two consecutive days or a couple of meals, have extra cilantro with it, that can help. So it's just about understanding how these things work in my body and figuring out. The digestive herbs work way better, and they taste so much better too. So, and my family loves them now too. So,
Oh, I'm so thrilled to hear that
yeah.
because it's a big deal to
Yes.
change these foods that we've been raised with and that we love so much. And to even begin to believe that, wow, I can actually enjoy food with different ingredients. It's a big thing.
Yes. Yes.
And what you're talking about is the three doshas, knowing how the vata energy and the pitta energy and the kapha energy move within your body. And you mentioned about how in the winter it's easier to tolerate the hot, pungent things like garlic and onion, and you eat it in the winter season
Mhm.
because it's colder and the environment has such a huge influence on us.
And food combining, thinking about food combining.
Is there some specific food combinations that you found really made a difference for you?
Yeah, the biggest one that was immediately evident when I started really, I had a note on my note from our session, and then I go and I explore in the Ayurvedic books that I have, all that you've recommended to me over time. And I have found fruit. I need to eat fruit on an empty stomach. So I'm generally eating apples for breakfast. And then I wait about 30 minutes to digest it before I eat anything else. So where I used to put, peanut butter on an apple or try to make a meal out of it, I'm not doing that anymore. So only fruit with fruit, get it digested, get all those nutrients, and then move on to the next meal later.
What kind of changes did you experience? What benefits do you have?
It was my digestion. I started to really pay attention to when things felt uneasy or, oh, I'm not digesting that really well. And I found that if there was fresh fruit, you go to a restaurant, you order a salad, they want to put strawberries on it, for example. I can't have that. A salad with fruit does not work in my digestion. I used to not recognize that. Now I know, so I can make it better for my system.
So a lot of people, they think digestion is the same as elimination. People sometimes think that when a digestion is poor, it means that what number 2 in the toilet is showing up soft or constipated. But in Ayurveda, that is so far from the truth. Digestive issues is when there is, for example, excess smelly loud gas or heartburn or bloating or a tummy ache, stomach pains, like that.
Yeah.
And
Gurgling, uneasy, I would get.
So you were experiencing an array of these digestive issues when you were combining the fresh raw fruits with other foods.
Yes, definitely.
And when you stop doing that, it sounds like this discomfort, it eased up. So you could start enjoying what you ate a lot more.
Yes, and then feeling better too, because then I wonder if it means I'm getting more of the nutrients from that apple and I'm digesting the fiber better, because you feel better, just not just in your digestion, but in general. Like, oh, okay, I'm getting it right now. You'll know because you feel well, more vibrant.
Yeah, and you'll start looking forward to your foods.
Yes, yeah.
And then it becomes a lot more fun to prepare foods. When we change seasons, with all the reading and everything you've studied, you have this insight about how to change your diet.
Yeah, because what I remember about it was when the first season changed, it was, oh no, everything I've learned is different. Call Heidi. And I remember saying to you, am I going to have to call you at every season change? And what you told me was life altering, right? It was when you understand how your body functions in the different environments, you will know what to do. And I thought, so now I get it. When it starts getting cooler, I have to move from my colder salads into more warming foods and stews. We start cooking it in a pot. And my family is on board. They start asking for things. Oh, it's time for that lentil soup, So we have the different things with the different seasons now that we can all digest better because It's not hot anymore. So when that happens,
What did you find to be the main factor that allowed your family to get on board?
probably seeing me do so much better with it. But the other piece were other fun things that you brought to us outside of food, things like making a happy list when we were feeling not in a good place. Go read your happy list became part of our family. Add to it 3 things on your happy list. So there were different strategies and techniques that you gave us that sort of infiltrated the whole family. And these are Heidi-isms that we have around our house that we use. And it keeps us healthy in all different ways, not going beyond what we eat, lifestyle, ways of thinking, things like that.
So for those that don't know what the happy list is,
Yes, make one.
yes, make one. So Karen, will you walk through the happy list?
Our family is prone to anxiety. It's in our genes. We work with this through Ayurvedic thinking on how to help ourselves with those things. And sometimes I think this came up around the pandemic. People were just kind of feeling not in the best place. And so you were pointing out to me how to be grateful for all the amazing things that we have going for us. Even there can always be bad, but there's amazing things. So this is an exercise, and we put all different colored markers and colored pencils and pens. And okay, we're just gonna write all the things, keep your eyes on your own paper, all of the things that bring you joy, make you feel happy. We could draw them. My daughter was very young at the time. She was mostly drawing. You can write the words and make it however you want. So we had things like rainbows make me happy, and chocolate ice cream makes me happy, and the butterflies make me happy. We had flowers all over. And when we would get upset, we would revisit it, read it, all these things that make you happy. And I used to tease them, I dare you, you're not allowed to smile. No smiling when you read your happy list. And the kids are feeling happy. Just understanding and recognizing that happiness is a choice. We have to make that decision, and that we have to practice ways of seeing it in our world. Was such a beautiful gift that you gave us all, Heidi. Thank you.
I'm so happy that you snatched that right up and it became such a success in your family. So Ayurveda has really changed not just your life, but your whole family.
Mm-hmm.
And with your training in Ayurveda at a personal level and discovering what works for you and your body.
Yeah.
And understanding and really gaining insight about the fundamentals in Ayurveda, you know how to also improve the lives of those in your family.
Yes.
Now, you shared a little bit about how you dived into the Ayurvedic cleansing, the Panchakarma, and how it helped you to improve the health of your head and your overall well-being. So what else prompted you? Because Ayurvedic Panchakarma is a big deal, wouldn't you say?
Yes. Yes, it was all encompassing. It was, I needed time off from work. I needed to focus on what I was doing to make sure I was getting it right. And again, here it was, this or surgery. The doctors don't know what to do with me because they have different expectations. It's just a matter of making it a priority to get well, and to know that we do have the power for that, most of us, to figure out how to get well.
So you were faced with, let's take you through surgery like they had your mother and your grandmother and so forth in your family lineage. And you said, no, I'm not going that route. I am determined to find another way.
Yeah.
And so you made that conscious choice. When you make that decision is where the commitment, in a way, comes easy. What were some of the challenges in your journey, Karen?
I was able to arrange my situation so that it worked for me. The bigger challenges came from people outside of me who are, yeah, right, you did an enema and it got better. It's like, no, I did a lot of things. I changed my diet. I thought about the timing of my eating. I made sure I digested all of my food before I ate more, instead of the decades of you need to eat something every hour and a half because I was a runner and you need to keep your energy up, right? These were very different lifestyle changes that I've made, which is interesting. I can't even label them all until I find myself in that moment of, I changed the timing of my eating, and now it's just so much a part of who I am. It's hard to get support from people if they're not understanding what you're trying to do, or if they think that these tactics, strategies, herbs that are so old, right? So old and ancient, but why don't we have them? Which I think is a political question, right? Which is not the point, but the point for them is, you should just go to the doctor and they'll take it out and you'll be fine. And me standing my ground and saying, no, I'm not going to do that. So I feel getting judged a lot happens. Let her go do her crazy things. Oh yeah, crazy? I stole my gallbladder. So, who's crazier? The one who just threw their hands in the air and said, okay, doctor, let's do surgery? Or someone who thought, what, maybe if I eat my apple in a different way, then I will be healthier.
Thank you for sharing about that, because so many people go through exactly that journey every single day.
Yes.
To just speak a few words about why isn't Ayurveda available with insurance, because it works so well.
Mm-hmm.
It is because it works too well that we don't have it available with the insurance and everything, literally.
We'd put them all out of business with your practice. What would the pharmaceutical companies do if we could grow the herbs in my garden that I need?
So Ayurveda works, and you are a living example of it, Karen.
Yes.
Even though that you came from the Western world of medicine for most of your life and going that route and eating a modern diet and going out to eat. And what has it been? About a decade now since you started embracing the Ayurvedic way?
Yes. Yeah, it's been about 10 years.
So Karen, you have improved your well-being and your health in so many ways. What would you share to somebody that is listening right now and is wanting something to help them? What message would you share?
When I came to you and I had so many chronic issues, there's a lot of sort of owning it. I remember you saying, don't own these headaches, because I said my headaches. No, these are horrible headaches and they are not yours, right? And so changing your perspective first was helpful for me, just from that psychological perspective of like, this is not me. I don't own this. Go away. I want to release this. And the other thing is understanding the doshas and having somebody who can guide you through that process, at least initially, to make sure that you're getting it right. I see all kinds of tests and things online that people can take. I always try those things, and I feel like sometimes they get something that might be helpful, but it's helpful to have someone like you, Heidi, to really guide us, because if I try to do it that way, I might not get things right, so having the knowledge and expertise of someone to help guide, I think, is really important, because I could have made some mistakes along the way. And then understanding how it all balances and in what that means for me. When you saw my daughter, we were able to take that for her and then look at some things and make changes that were beneficial for her. You are what you eat. So you cannot ignore food because it's just so important. So be empowered. Don't own it. Let it go and figure out how to keep it gone.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for sharing that. It can change so much in life with simply these little tweaks in life and gathering information. And you're so right, Karen, that knowing about the doshas and how they play around in our body is a big deal. Because very rarely when issues are going on, and especially if there's diagnoses from the doctors, then there is usually more than one of the doshas affected or imbalanced or aggravated. The doshas, they account for anything in your life. Anything that goes on in the physical body, in the mind, in the whole being. The doshas account for it all. So thank you for sharing about that, Karen. Of professional help is really needed when it comes to the doshic imbalances.
Yeah, that's the tricky part, right? Because we had always talked about pitta for me until one day I came to you and you said, well, this is kapha. And I was, oh no. Now I have to increase one thing whilst decreasing another. And it's not always compatible. And it takes trial and error to kind of figure out. Yeah, I wouldn't have figured that out because I was in a one track place, but I had also aged during that time and things change as you move. So it's constantly how, for my work, I'm a behavior analyst, which is constantly looking at how people behave and how we can help improve their lives of these young children. And Ayurveda is very much similar parallels to that of how my body works in the environment that I'm in. So for me, I think it makes good sense that I can latch on to this and be confident in it. But then when you see it working is what keeps me there, especially when I see it not working and I know exactly why.
You mentioned how you were so focused on the pitta and recognizing that fire element within you. And when you read the books, oh, this is it, this is it, this is it. And then you come into knowing, whoa, things change with the seasons.
Mm-hmm.
And on a regular basis, even throughout the day, the doshas, they change. And that's why it's tricky to balance the body at all times. Here is a general guideline that is fairly safe for most people, and that is to balance your vata dosha. You engage in all the oil treatments. You can watch my previous Heidi healing shows where I go into describing so many of the oil treatments, how it's safe to put oil in the eyes, oil up in the nose, oil in the mouth, oil on the whole body, oil massaging. And you mentioned earlier the Ayurvedic enemas, which is inserting oil into the large intestine. So calming that vata dosha, the air and ether element, that really is so involved in any diagnosis. Whatever disease, whatever diagnosis, there's always vata involved. And that is important to know because often it's overlooked. But imbalances that happen in the digestion, which is where every disease starts in the gut. And so when vata gets imbalanced due to improper diet, it will start increasing, and it is the moving factor in your body. And that will start pushing. It starts to push all of the imbalance into the weak areas in the body. And then that is what starts the disease process. So vata is always at the root of things. So that's why I emphasize these oil treatments so much, because it will calm that vata down. Now for pitta, the diet. This is where the diet is so important to get rid of the inflammation, to eat more of the digestive spices, to metabolize things more properly in the liver and in the intestines and the entire GI tract. Then for kapha, it's the exercise. It is the activities and the exercise and move the body. So these three directions on how to balance the doshas is pretty safe for everybody. And then, as you mentioned, of course, there's so much more, the herbs. And share a little bit about how that has been for you, Karen, to make friends with these herbs, because a lot of these Ayurvedic herbs, they don't taste very good.
You just got to do it. And it gets easier the more you do it. And then if you miss it, you go, oh no, I need that. The kids call it mud. I'm drinking mud. But yeah, I mean, that's what it is. It's, plants. It's the best place to get your food. And it can be really helpful, these different herbs. For some reason, taking them as pills is not the same as drinking them in a tea for me. I don't really know what that's about, but if I try both of them, I end up having to drink the mud. So it's, there's a particular time depending on the herb and how I'm doing it, whether I'm taking it in the morning or in the evening time. So that just, it varies depending. And I just do it as quickly as possible.
It's such a good point that you are bringing forth here. The difference between just taking the capsules and the pills, swallowing them down, versus going through the extra effort of putting the powdered herbs matter, the herb matter, directly on the tongue and then drinking it down. Mm. There is such a major difference between the two. Mm. The medicinal aspect that you get from going through the extra effort of putting the powder on your tongue, holding your breath and drinking it down allows the medicine of the herb to mix with your saliva, and then the medicine starts already in your mouth. And then it will have such greater impact when it gets into your GI tract.
Of course, you're digesting it differently instead of bypassing your saliva.
And exactly that's what happens when you just swallow the capsules and the herbs. Now, if it's a question that if you're not gonna ingest the herbs, if you have to take them in the powder, then it's better to take them in the pill and the capsule, because at least they will get inside the body. Sure, at least it will make some difference. So of course it's better to take the capsule and pill than not doing anything.
Sure.
But if you get down to that nitty-gritty part of like, I want to do what's best for my body, then go through that extra little step of holding your breath and then put the powder on your tongue and drink it down. It makes a very big difference. But it's not all the herbs that taste bad. It's the pre-cleansing. Yeah. It's the cleansing herbs. And they taste bad because they have all this bitterness to them and the astringency. And we're not trained to like that taste. If we give bitter to a baby, what happens? You're gonna spit it out.
Yeah. No.
But it's so necessary, because we live in a world today when the albicans, the excess yeast, the fungi is very readily available. Going to restaurants and eating dairy and wheat and candy and sweets and baked goods and all of that, boom, yeast is there, and parasites are there. And so to really address that and clean the body out is so essential. So out of all of the Ayurvedic protocols that you've done, Karen, which are your favorite ones?
When you mentioned oil, I remember laying on the edge of the bed with my head all the way back, trying to get in the right position to get the oil in my nose and massage. I've gotten a lot better and making things a lot less cumbersome than it used to be, just with practice. You learn how to do it. But I do love the oil each night. It gets me into the bed a little earlier, extra time to be able to really pay attention to my feet and, get
Mm.
hydrated. Living here in Denver, it's very dry, right? So I think those are, in terms of my rituals every day. Applying oil is nice. My husband will sit next to me. He'll do his feet. I'll do mine. We'll do each other's. It's like, wait, you missed a spot. Like, you got to, this is not just like a massage. This is like, you got to get it in a certain way, right? Absorb it into your body.
Oh, I love that. If you go back to watch one of the previous Heidi Healing shows, you will
Okay.
find a delicious foot massage.
Nice.
And so there are pressure points to get into on the feet that really help to reset the nervous system and calm you down to go to sleep so well. So when you do your oil massage, your abhyanga,
Yeah.
you sometimes feel inspired or called to pause and work on a certain part on your body.
Yes, and I'm usually directed to my feet, and we have charts up around, so the kids have been looking at that their whole lives of,
Oh,
these different points. Massaging different parts of the head is always really helpful for sure.
you have these pressure points everywhere in your body. And so when you get your oil out and you decide to apply the oil, it's really nice to warm it up a little bit and then apply it to the whole body. So the oil will protect the body for at least 15 minutes, either before you sleep at night or before you take a bath or shower.
Mhm.
And then the oil will help to nourish the whole body and rejuvenate it. So when you're massaging, to start trusting even more that whatever thought is popping into your mind about where to massage. So, Karen, you're sharing that your attention goes to your head
Mhm.
with good reason because you have a history of issues going on in your head. And that is one in Ayurveda, we call it kavaigunya. Kavaigunya is a term in Sanskrit that is referring to the weakness in the body that we're born with in this lifetime. So everybody has their kavaigunya in their body. And to know where it is, and to know that is reviewing life and recognizing, oh, where have I had weaknesses? Where has disease shown up a lot? Where has the problems been in life? Those are the pathways of the kavaigunya where there is a weakness. There are reasons why that weakness shows up, which come into the whole, what we can call karma and old traumas, unresolved issues and generational patterns, intergenerational traumas, and all of that in that whole department.
Mhm.
That is the root causes of the kavaigunya. And so trusting yourself that your hands has this wisdom that you can go anywhere in your body and stimulate these pressure points yourself, that you are your greatest healer. Go ahead and close your eyes and take some long, deep breaths and take up your space. Get the sense that you're expanding. Every breath, you're expanding. Bigger, bigger. Get the sense that you're expanding upward, that you're like opening up energetic dimensions above you. And you're creating space for who you truly are. And you're taking up space below you, space up all around you, so you get the sense that, wow, you're in this amazing energetic bubble. Now we're going to use words to activate your vibration, your frequency inside this bubble. So what would it take for you to truly activate yourself 100% right here, right now? What colors would it take to truly get the sense that you are vibrating, that you are remembering who you truly are? What would it take for you to charge up right here, right now? Anything in the way of that is just dissolving in the light fully, completely. You are activating, you're expanding, you're activating, you're expanding, you're taking up the space. Feel it in your breath. Breathe a little bit deeper. Breathe a little bit faster. Practice some breath work here. Get in touch with it. Move your belly, activating it. Do you feel an expansion?
Yes.
Now ask, is it true that what Heidi just shared with me about the herbs, that they will help me balance my female cycle so I will feel better for my greatest good and the greatest good of all?
These herbs will help me balance my cycle so I can achieve greater
Just
greatness.
call in, is it a yes or a no? Is it true that what Heidi just shared is for your greatest good and greatest good of all?
I believe that it is true.
So come into a feeling of what is a yes energy for you. If you think about things that have worked for you, if you think about things that really felt good and that you had great success with, what kind of sensation in your body is that? Show me a yes.
It's
Say that out
green.
loud. Show me a yes.
Yes, it's happy, it's green, healthy, empowered, feeling vibrant.
Yes. Does it have like a direction? Does it go up or down or out
So
to one
all
side? Hmm?
always
It's
all out,
expanding upward, or what did you say?
all out in all directions.
Good. So it's expansive. Now,
Yes.
think about things that definitely didn't feel good. Think about things that really was a no for you, that no, definitely you're not going to do that. That doesn't feel good. You don't want to do that. Think about that feeling of the no and say it out loud. Show me a no.
No, no, push it away. No good.
How does that feel in your body? Which direction does that go?
Inward, it's like crumbles down.
Yeah. So now ask again. Go ahead and expand. And now ask again, is it true that what Heidi just shared with me is for my greatest good and the greatest good of all?
Is it true that what I learned from Heidi, it will make me greater and be better for the greater good of all? Yes.
Thank you for confirming.
Yes. Thank you for invigorating.
It's so important to feel the truth for you. It's so important for you to empower you. It's so important for you to know your truth. Don't give your power to me. Sure, I can call in a lot of different things. As a medical intuitive, that's what we do. We call in suggestions and recommendations and alignments. And it's your responsibility to confirm that what I pull in answer to your question, that it is indeed the best and greatest for you. Because if you don't confirm it for yourself, you just take my word for it. And most people, what they call in is what's good for them. If they don't have specific questions in place or practices in place to truly challenge that what they become the proxy for other people when they call in the answers, they will just share with you what is good for them. And then you can go about and practice it and try it out for a long time and waste a lot of time. And that is a waste when it's possible for you to know your truth and establish what is best for you for your greatest good, and then it will work quick. Yes. Thank you so much. Great questions. And thank you for your openness to share about your journey, some of the challenges, some of your wins, and being honest and authentic about your journey. That's so beautiful. And is there anything else you feel compelled or guided to share? Anything that pops into your mind?
I believe that history is the best predictor of the future. And if it were my first time with you, I would feel differently about your recommendations, I'm sure. Skeptical, figuring it out. But now my history tells me that your guidance has gotten me to such a place. So now I receive it in a different way than I did 10 years ago, with more excitement that I can jump in and be grateful. I'll try things and let you know how they work for me. And thank you, because I might still be wandering around trying to solve this burning face sensations. And I'm so beyond all of that now and a better person for having had your guidance as part of my life for so long. So thank you, Heidi.
We're so blessed.
Yes, we are. Thank you.
Think of just one thing to be grateful for right now. Recognize a blessing. It may be a blessing in disguise, perhaps, but recognize that without it, life would not be as great as it is because you have it in your life. A memory, perhaps. A connection, perhaps. A kind action from somebody. Somewhere where you felt excited about life. Call it forth and feel the gratitude. And let's remember that it's never, never too late to heal at all levels. Namaste.